Salakia, this is Numbers chapter 23 and verse 19. The Most High is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good?
God, the Lord ain't like you people, man. Hypocrites, man. And that's what the Christian church try to do. Try to turn the Lord into a hypocrite. The Old Testament, he on one thing, and then the next Testament, he done swerved off to another lane, to another exit.
If I can say this too, as a nation of Israel, we did that shit, and that made us whores, man. So if the Most High did that, what's that saying about the Most High? You trying to say the Most High is a whore?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's hypocrisy in itself to say that when we did it, we became a nation of harlots, right?
Yeah.
But the Most High is gonna do it right after we did it.
The same power that formed this whole narrative before he even placed it out here and performed it. You saying that he somewhere saw in his story that he made a mistake? That's a finite mentality, man. To try to put an infinite being inside of your finite mind to understand it. We can't understand Yahawashi in his fullness. He can only give us crumbs because we can't digest what he can really do, man. We can't digest what Yahawashi can really do, what he can really make happen. That's why we're children, man. You don't feed children the same thing you feed adults, man. That's why Yahawashi had to set the kind of cup he had, and we got the kind of bread we got. Because he was on a different level, man. Now in the kingdom, when we cross that bridge, when we endure to the end, Lord willing, we'll be opened up into that, man. But everything else, that's why the Lord said, lean not into your own understanding, because you don't understand Yahawashi. We barely understand Yahawashi. And he said he love us, man.
This is Psalms chapter 55, verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord.
And that ain't pride, that's just facts, man. The Lord is on a whole nother level, man. Our mind can't understand. Somebody get Wisdom of Solomon 9 and 15. Bring it out.
It's Isaiah chapter 66 and verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, the heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that ye built unto me? And where is the place of my rest?
Come on, man. The Lord is in all things, man. He said that if he took his spirit from all flesh, everything would die at once, man. We can't begin to understand the fullness of Yahawashi. We can only take the crumbs and accept that and reverence that, man. Because these people, they don't even want crumbs, man. The Lord said wickedness is not wisdom, man. It's not knowledge, man. And these people are fully engulfed in wickedness, man. The lust of the flesh.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9, verse 13. For what man is he that can know the counsel of Yahweh?
Are you serious?
For what man is he that can know the counsel of Yahweh, or who can think what the will of the Lord is? Continue.
Yeah.
For the thoughts of mortal men are miserable, and our devices are but uncertain. For the corruptible body presseth down the soul, and the earthy tabernacle weigheth down the mind that musteth upon many things.
When you look at the word musteth, it means deep thought, man. Because even us, with the crumbs that the Yahawashi has given us, we often in deep thought, man. Introverts. Introvert meaning that you think a lot about your own thoughts, man. Meditating on the words of Yahawashi, man. Trying to grasp the crumbs, man. It says the earthly tabernacle presseth us down, man. That's why we have to have new vessels, man. Yahawashi said that he was going to speak to us plainly concerning the Father. We're going to have vessels to receive that plainly spoken knowledge, man. We can barely remember 7 phone numbers. You think we're going to be able to understand Yahawashi, man, in these vessels? That's why the Lord is testing our integrity with the crumbs, man. Can you maintain order with the crumb? Can you stay spiritual with the crumb I gave you? Because if you can, I can make you a ruler of many. I can give you meat. But if you're not willing to eat the crumbs that I'm giving you, I can't go into deep things, man. Paul said that, man. He said if you can't handle the things that I'm speaking to you now, you couldn't handle the other stuff on other levels, man. We on the surface, man. And these people are below the surface, man.
John chapter 16, starting at verse 12. I have yet many things to say unto you, but ye cannot bear them now. Verse 13, howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you.
He said that we cannot bear it, man. The truth that the Lord wanted to speak to us, man. And that was the disciples back in them days, man. He said they couldn't bear it, man, because our earthly tabernacle pressed us down.
It says, howbeit, verse 13, howbeit when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak. And he will show you things to come. Verse 14, he shall glorify me, for he shall receive of mine, and shall show it unto you. All things that the Father hath are mine, therefore said I that he shall take of mine, and shall show it unto you. Verse 16, a little while, and ye shall not see me, and again a little while, ye shall see me, because I go to the Father.
Come on, man. The Lord is going to be able to speak plainly to us, man. But we got to be able to maintain with the crumbs, man, with what's given, man. The big brother is sending the message, and he's giving it to the brothers that are able to handle it, man, a part of the family, man. So inside of our family, the Lord has sanctified brothers inside the family to be able to handle this this food, man, this spiritual meal. Two-thirds of our own nation can't handle this, man. And you think that the nations, you think that the heathens are about to jump over two-thirds and just hop into knowledge and understanding? When it was meant for Jacob from the beginning? That's not the case, man. That's not wisdom.
Right there. I got it. Back in John 16 and verse 25. These things have I spoken unto you in Proverbs, but the time cometh when I shall no more speak unto you in Proverbs, but I shall show you plainly of the Father.
And that's what's about to happen, man. Lord willing, we can continue, man. Everything that the hopeful elect try to get their hands into to understand YAHAWASHI more and more, it's going to be made plain. It's not going to be a struggle. You ain't going to have to write notes to remember certain things. We're going to have vessels that can retain the knowledge, man, and understand and break it down in our own words, man. Not regurgitate something, man. That's what we fighting for, man. True understanding. And that's what righteous, the hopeful elect and the righteous rulers to come, man, are going to be into, man. The wisdom and knowledge and understanding of YAHAWASHI, the one that they ignorantly call God, in the name of the one they ignorantly call Christ, man.
Got you right here. We'll finish that up. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9, verse 16. And hardly do we guess aright the things that are upon earth, and with labor do we find the things that are before us. But the things that are in heaven who have searched out, and thy counsel who have known, except thou give wisdom and send the Holy Spirit from above. For so the ways of them which lived on the earth were reformed, and men were taught the things that are pleasing unto thee, and were saved through wisdom.
And that's what we're holding on to. That's what we're holding on to for dear life. The truth that has reformed us, man. That has sanctified us, man. The Lord says, sanctify them with your truth, man. This understanding has separated us from two-thirds of our nation, man. We don't get into the things that they get into. We don't even like the things that they like, man. You don't even understand their world anymore, man, because the Lord's put you on this side, man. And we're about to receive the fruits of our labor very soon, man. All of these prophecies coming to pass is us getting ready to receive the fruits of our labor, man. And believing is a labor, man.
That's right.
That's a labor in itself, man. You surrounded by a society, a world where they teach you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that you're stupid, that you're not intellectual, that you're not fit to rule, that you're not even a man. And they wrote that in the law and they have refused to change it. Being in a society like that and growing up in a society like that would make any man break down, man. And if not for the mercy of YAHAWASHI, we wouldn't be standing up boldly for our heritage to wake up our Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans with like minds, man. The Lord is not looking for a huge number. He show off more with the small ones, man. The Lord loved using small numbers to confound the many, man. All of this wickedness going on, man, and then the men of the Lord are placed in the lower state, man. The true inheritors of all things, man. But that's just like YAHAWASHI. YAHAWASHI had to walk the earth and be low, man. Get talked down to vessels you created. To have a Sadducee or a Pharisee or the wicked talk down to you, and you created them, man, through the Spirit of Yahweh. And they talking down to you. The Lord had to have patience, man. He had to suffer and be in a lower state, man. We ain't going through but half. We're not even going through half of what he went through, man. Whenever you think your walk is hard, man, think about YAHAWASHI's walk, man. The King of Kings.
This is John chapter 12 and verse 24. Verily, verily, I say unto you, except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone. But if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit. Verse 25. He that loveth his life shall lose it, and he that hateth his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal. Verse 26. If any man serve me, let him follow me, and where I am, there shall also my servant be. If any man serve me, him will my Father honor.
Yeah. And if you love your life, you're going to lose it, man. You love your life over here, you're going to lose it, man. All of the pride of life is about to be taken out of the way, man. All of the comforts that these people enjoy is about to get taken away. And we're going to see how good you eat when neighborhood Walmart stop working, man. When they stop delivering food over there, man. We're going to say that every weekend through the Spirit, man. You want to get your frozen shrimp? Well, the Lord going to take that frozen shrimp away from you, man.
This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 13. But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved.
Fine. And that's what we hoping to do, man. To maintain and endure to the end. So that the things that we're prophesying about, we don't have to be a part of, man. We can witness it without being involved, man. Because it's gonna happen, man. Economic collapse is on the way, man. Dollar is gonna crash, man. This society is gonna fall like Rome fell, man. They was having bread and circuses until they couldn't do it no more. And it's because of the pride of life, man. People love their life here, man. They comfortable here. The Lord is about to take away all the comfort, man. All the victories, man. And all these people who consumed in themselves are going to realize in that day that they're nothing, man. That you are a creation, man. And the pride of your heart is going to deceive you in that day, man. Somebody get Job 18 and I think it's 18 and 14. Because that confidence is going to bring them to the King of Terrors, man. Everybody confident when you're comfortable, man. It's easy to be confident when you're comfortable. The Lord is about to take comfort away from this place, man. Everything that you built here is about to come to an end, man.
This is This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be sold and so good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think to themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion.
Yeah. So when you least expect it, the Lord is going to bring terrors on you, man. Because you are building a life in wickedness, man. You are building a life on a society that's funded and founded on wickedness, man. And there's a payment for that, man. And we're prophesied to come out here and tell them that, man. That famine, death, and destruction is coming, man.
This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 22. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy.
So you might starve out and not even die of the starvation. The Lord might just put your light out with somebody's sword, man. But you still had to go through the famine. The Lord got a trick bag coming, man. And this whole world is going to be caught like a thief in the night, man. Like a deer in headlights, man. They're not going to see it coming. All these people walking and enjoying the pride of life, man. Enjoying Babylon. Well, you got to pay for that, man. All of the wickedness that you're doing is going to come back on your own head, man. And it's our job to come out here and say it.
Oh yeah. This is Malachi chapter 1 and verse 4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build a desolate place. Thus said the Lord of armies, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
And Esau has enlarged his border all across the nation, all across the world, man. That's why wickedness is everywhere, man. You can't escape it.
He got his embassies everywhere. He has military bases all across the earth, man. Spreading his democracy and his lies. Now you got countries where women weren't even allowed to drive. They driving now. You know what I'm saying? Lesbian, homosexuality is running rampant in the earth. Spreading his wickedness, man.
Gone. And it says that's the border of wickedness, man. Because everywhere he go, he's sowing mischief, man. Everywhere he go, he's sowing discord, oppression, robbery, murder. Nobody got a body count like Esau, except for the Most High. And eventually, the Lord is about to bring him to the king of, he's going to be brought into YAHAWASHI, who's the king of terrors, man. You had Job 18, 14. Was it when I was
Job chapter 18, verse 14. His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, and it shall bring him to the king of terror.
And through the spirit, all of these people have become Edomites spiritually. They've all become spiritual Edomites, man. Because the same characteristics that Esau has, being insatiable, being proud, trusting in the flesh, eating your meat, medium rare. All of these characteristics come from Esau, man, who spread his influence across the whole world, man. And now he speaks proudly because he thinks that he can rebuild desolate places. He thinks that no matter what worst case scenario happens, he's gonna be able to rebuild. That's why they have all of these nuclear destruction movies where they come out on top and start rebuilding after. You're not gonna rebuild after this one. This is your last call for alcohol. This is your last opportunity to enjoy yourself in wickedness, man.
This Habakkuk chapter 2, starting at verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith.
Yeah, Khan, the spirit of Esau, which is proud, it's not upright, man. It's not righteous. And you can see it through the fruits of his labor, like we said before, man. There's not even the Babylonians were able to do this much wickedness, man. On such a global scale, man. This nigga topped all of the villains, man. This nigga is the spiritual Thanos, man. This nigga's the finale, man. And he's coming in like fashion, man. But he's fighting for what he's meant to do, man. Jacob is not fighting for what he's meant to do, man. Jacob was meant to be righteous, man, an example of honor, man.
Right.
But now the whole world has been turned upside down, where you got the nation that has gained from rape, robbery, and murder looked at as the supreme nation on the earth, man. And what they got is shameful, and how they got it is shameful, man.
Yeah, I say this too. That's funny that you said that about not even the Babylonians could have did this much. When you look at Nebuchadnezzar's dream, right? Right now we living in the age of the foot, right? And when you look at it, the foot, so anybody's foot is their foundation, right? So that foot is actually uplifted and holding up the other parts of the body as well. You know, all the other
Spiritual.
You get what I'm saying? So it's the foot is really all those other. What's the word I'm looking for?
Like
all the other, the kingdoms all in one, because it's the foundation. It holds up all the other, you know, all that wickedness is combined in that foot, man.
Esau took Ham's wickedness and multiplied it, man. Exponentially, man. Esau the Lord gave Esau the ability to have technology to expand his wickedness, man. But that's why his destruction is going to be more grievous, man. His destruction is going to be more grievous, man. His pride is going to be brought low, man. And that's how you know the Edomites, man. By the pride, man, the pride of their flesh, man. They don't have no more than you do, and they look at you proudly, man. Because of the wickedness, man. Because they've gotten away with so much.
This Habakkuk, back in Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Yeah, man. Extremely greedy, man. In John the 10th chapter, it said that the thief cometh not but to steal, to kill, and to destroy. That's in Esau's DNA, man. That's what he's built to do. And he's true to his nature, man.
Verse 6.
You got it.
Verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Verse 7. Shall they not rise up suddenly, and shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be thou shalt be for booties unto them?
Yeah. Because Esau has spoiled all nations, and now that he done ceased from spoiling, or he's trying to cease from spoiling, he's going to become a spoiler, man. Everything that he's done is going to come back around, man. You never escape YAHAWASHI's judgment, man. The Father just defers your judgment until the right time, man. That's why I said in Ecclesiastes, because judgment against an evil work is not executed speedily, it's set in the hearts of man to do wickedness, man. Roughly paraphrasing, man. Because if a woman committed adultery, she didn't get put to death right then and there, man. That opens the door for more adultery. But they're about to find out that the Lord waits, and then he cashes out at the end.
This is Proverbs chapter 14, verse 3. In the mouth of the foolish is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise shall preserve them.
Yeah, and that's what the majority of these people are, man. Completely engulfed in folly, man. In love with wickedness, man. Lust of the flesh, man. That's why I said in Isaiah the 24th chapter, it said that few men left, man. Because the spirit of man in its original fashion, how it's meant to be, is not what you see in the earth today, man. Save the remnant, man. Because even in this world, they make you think that being big in the flesh, that having substance makes you a man. But integrity makes you a man. Standing on morals and willing to fight and die for your nation makes you a man. Being big, having a lot of money, that's not being a man. That's why the Lord said few men left, man. Because the Lord looks for men of understanding. It's nothing for the Lord to make you strong, man. It's nothing for the Lord to make you rich. It's harder to give you integrity, man, because you got to learn that through experience. That's what we're doing. We're learning integrity and wisdom. And you can only learn that through experience, man. You can only learn how to judge by being put in situations to judge, man. And eventually the Lord is going to take these training wheels off of us, man. And when that happens, judgment is going to start happening, man. And all the words that we're performing, Lord willing, all of the words that we're speaking, if we endure to the end, we'll perform them, man. You can't be a hunter until you've been a fisher, man. You agree?
Yeah, I got you. This kind of, this Isaiah chapter 45, verse 11. Thus saith the Lord, YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, the Holy One of Israel, and his Maker, asked me of things to come concerning my sons, and concerning the work of my hands, command ye me.
Yeah, somebody get, I think it's Chaaaraw. No, I think it's second Edges, 9 and 12. No, it's 9 and 21. I think it's spirit of great for the cluster. I think it's 9 and 21. Because concerning the Lord's sons, man, he only keeping a remnant, man. A remnant that he holding to himself, and that through affliction they're gonna be perfected. You got it?
Second Ezra chapter 9, verse 21. And I saw and spared it greatly, and have kept me a great of the cluster, and a plant of a great people.
And that's what the sons, concerning the sons, that's what the Lord is talking about, man. Establishing the remnant, man. Through affliction, man. Through maintaining your understanding in this lower state, man. To have faith, even though everything around you that you see, that you taste, that you touch and feel is against everything you believe in, man. But the Lord is asking you to maintain your integrity and wait on him, man. Because the Lord can make you rich, he can make you strong, he can give you spiritual power, but he can't give you integrity. That can only come through experience, man. That's why the elect is going through this affliction, man. Because the Lord is giving them experience, man. Or I should say he's giving them integrity through experience, man. Giving them wisdom through experience. Learning how to judge through experience, man. And on the other side, Lord willing, we endure to the end, we'll be saved and watch the Lord perform his works, man. You got to work for the ticket in this theater, man. You can't go online and just order a ticket and have it on reserve and just play Madden. Nah. You got to work for the ticket in this theater. You want to sit at the front row and watch the Lord's destruction of this wickedness? You got to get your hands dirty, man. And like I said before, believing is laboring as well, man. You have to labor to believe. You have to believe to labor, man. And you have to labor to believe, man.
Verse 22. Let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept, and my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect.
And that's the will of YAHAWASHI. That's the will of the Lord. Let the multitude perish that was created in vain, man. But let his grape be kept, man. That's his will, man. You saying the Lord's Prayer, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. That's what you're supposed, that's what you're saying. Let the multitude perish, man. Because they're vain, they're good for nothing, man.
This is 2 Corinthians chapter 12, starting at verse 7. And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, and the messenger of Satan to perfect me, lest I should be exalted above measure. Verse 8, for this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Hamashiach may rest upon me. Verse 10, therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses, for Hamashiach's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong.
So we suffer all of these people laughing and mocking. We suffer the thorn in the flesh that the Lord give us, man. We suffer the circumstances that the Lord puts us in, man. We glory in those things, man. Because it's for our profit, man. We glory in our infirmities, man. Because our Lord and Savior had to go through this, man. We allow these people to talk proudly, man, and we suffer it, man. Because on the other side, man, they're not going to be proud, man. When the Lord starts jacking people up, man, it's not going to be funny in that day. And Lord willing, we'll be Isaiah 63. We're going to be those servants being able to watch the destruction of the wicked, man.
This is Sirach, chapter 2, verse 4. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity.
And that's what we got bigger fish to fry, man. The so-called white man going into slavery, that's a no-brainer, man. That's an easy entry-level scripture, man. That's easy entry-level understanding, man. The heathens having to pay for what they've done to us, that's easy, man. The furnace of affliction don't start there, man. Knowing the end, knowing the script don't begin the furnace of affliction. It's the actual situations that the Lord puts you through, man. That begins the furnace of affliction, man. Knowing that you're gonna have a kingdom and not having it right now. That's the furnace of affliction, having patience.
This is Hebrews chapter 9, verse 22. And almost all things are by the law, purged with blood, and without shedding of blood is no remission.
And the remission of Yahshua sins is the one that they ignorantly call Yahawah Christ, man. Whose real name is Yahawah, man. That was the blood of, somebody get back to 26 and 28. Because that's the blood of the New Testament that he shed that for the nation of Yahshua, man. So that our forefathers, the things that the Lord promised our forefathers could be made true, man. And we could manifest and inherit it, man. That's the sacrifice that the Lord made, man. He didn't sacrifice to cover the rape, robbery, and genocide that the so-called white man committed. He didn't die for that. He didn't die so the seed of Esau could walk into the kingdom after all of the dirt that they've done. He didn't die for that, man. I got
it. This is Matthew chapter 26, verse 28. For this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins.
And that many is that innumerable multitude in 144,000, man. They were the only ones able to sin, man. New Testament meaning new covenant, man. Testament is just another word for covenant, man, an agreement. The Lord didn't shed his blood so that all these other nations can get away with the wickedness that they've done, man. He shed his blood so his sons could be brought back to him, man. Somebody get Galatians 4:4. Because right now we're under the tutelage of the scriptures, man. But eventually the Lord is about to take the training wheels off, and everything that we're working for, we're going to actually inherit, man. That part of this narrative is coming, man. Our slavery happened. When the Lord got angry, what he said happened, man. So when he says that he's going to turn again our captivity and show favor to us, it's going to happen, man. We're not going to have to be looked down upon by these peons, man. These heathens, man. Same people where their ancestors put you in slavery and they look down on you like you dirt, man. Same nation of people that committed genocide and slavery look down on you like your heritage is a shame. Did all of this wickedness to have a country, and now you want niggas to stand. You hypocrites are gonna be destroyed, man. Your whole nation, man.
This is Galatians chapter 4, verse 4. But when the fullness of the time was come, the Most High sent forth his Son, made of a woman, made under the law, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons.
To redeem them that were under the law so we can receive our adoption of sons. Because it was already given to us, man. And we're about to receive it, regardless of what the heathens think, man. Regardless of what 2/3 of our own nation believe, man. You don't have to want us to rule over you, man. It's gonna happen regardless, man. We didn't want to go into slavery, but it happened. And you gotta drink of that cup. Double.
It's Deuteronomy chapter 30, starting at verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord Yahawah hath driven thee, and shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I commanded thee this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul. Verse 3, that then the Lord thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee.
The Lord is going to gather his people from away from our oppressors, man. The Lord didn't die so we can continue to live under our oppressors, man. He died so we can be liberated from this situation. And that judgment can happen for what they've done to us, man. And we pray every day that the Lord bring it sooner and sooner, man.
Verse 4, if any of thine be driven out unto the outermost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And the Lord thy power will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed, to love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul, and thou mayest live.
Would you jump to verse 7 in that?
Yeah, verse 7. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
So all these other nations hate us, but you're going to have to go through the same stuff that you joking and mocking us for, man. Everything that we went through, you got to go through it in double, man. And you're not built like our people, man. You can't handle a little bit of affliction. Persecution. The moment
you seen that when the housing bubble happened in 2008, man. Them devils was jumping out of buildings committing suicide, man.
Yeah.
Because they lost their pension. It was madness at that time, man. They can't take no pressure, man. They ain't built it how we are. You take everything away from these devils, man, they'll commit suicide. You have it back.
They're gonna take that skydive without the parachute, man. But it say
Go ahead, finish.
it said in Revelations that they were gonna seek death and they shall not find them, man. Because the Lord is gonna allow you to suffer what you've done, man. You ain't gonna get no quick, clean death, man. You're gonna starve out thinking about your wickedness, man. You're gonna live in constant peril, wondering when they're gonna kick your door in and blow your head off, man. And truly you deserve it, because that's the terror you inflicted upon all nations, man.
And that's how you know that the Most High is only dealing with the children of Israel. Because we just literally read the new covenant in the book of Deuteronomy, which is in the Torah. Now who's the Torah written to? The 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. We just read the new covenant in Deuteronomy. Moses prophesied the new covenant, said that he shall circumcise our hearts and the hearts of our seeds, man. That's the second covenant in Deuteronomy. Written to who? The children of Israel. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And that's what we're about to receive, man. Like we said before, man, that's what we fighting for, man. This is a corruptible crown in this world, man. Where you might get some kind of substance here, but it's all for yourself. And you can lose it at any moment. Why not suffer for righteousness' sake so that you can receive a crown that no man can take from you, man?
That's right.
This is your father's heritage, man. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob took risks, man. They had to have faith, man. And in the remnant, in these last days, are gonna have that faith, man. Through the spirit of YAHAWASHI, man. The Lord is calling his sons back, man. And the world's gonna hate us for that, man. Because us standing on our feet is a symbol of their destruction, man. It's a symbol that a transition of power is about to happen. And they envy that and they hate that and they're afraid, man.
I got you, bro.
If we was out here doing B-boy shit, spinning on cardboard, they wouldn't have a problem. They'd throw money at us. But now that we out here telling all these nations that they're gonna pay for what they've done to us, it's a problem, man. Now that we found out who we are and we're standing on our feet, they're afraid, man.
The second Ezra chapter 6 and verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, of him Jacob's head held first the heel of Esau. Verse 9, for Esau, which is the so-called white man, is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed.
Whether you like it or not, man. According to prophecy, and that's what we're instructed to come out here and tell you, man. That Jacob is about to receive his inheritance, man. That this temporary blessing that Isaac gave you is about to be up, man. You were promised to live by the sword for a portion of time, man. But now your time is running out, man. And the kings are about to be put in place, man. Under Yahawashi, under King David, under the apostles. The kings, the true kings of the earth are about to be established, man. And you're about to watch this thing be performed correctly, man. All these other heathens had our possession, our inheritance in their hands, and they ain't do nothing with it. Jake is about to do this thing and flip it, man.
2 Thessalonians chapter 1 verse 6. Seeing it is a righteous thing with power to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you.
We're not like 2/3 of our nation. We actually want revenge, man. But we got to remain spiritual, man, until the Lord do it. But we're not like 2/3 of our nation, man. We're not like 2/3 of our nation. We want to see what was being done to us paid back, man. We want to see righteous judgment, because that's what judgment is, man. That's what we want to. We're not like. It said that the portion of Jacob is not like them, man. We walk with our heads high in righteousness, man, knowing that our Father's gonna come and redeem us, man. We have faith on that, man, and with our faith, we come out here boldly and proclaim that, man. And when we're not out here, we're walking as spiritually as we can, man.
It's a precept going back to what you said earlier about how these other nations can't bear their punishment.
Yeah.
That's crazy you said that. This is Genesis chapter 4 and verse 13. And Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Verse 14. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me, right? Verse 15, and the Lord said unto him, therefore whoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold, and the Lord shall set a mark upon Cain lest any finding him should kill him. Going back to why you said we gotta be patient and wait, because right now they're protected from the Most High. You know what I'm saying? They're protected. We can't just go. Yeah, go ahead.
No, because that's spiritual that he said that. Because we have a righteous hedge around us, and on the left side, the Lord put a hedge around them to preserve them until the judgment time, man. He's preserving them for the ultimate judgment, man.
I'm about to say this, he say they are not troubled like other men.
Yeah, that song. He said they're not in trouble like us. They don't go through what we go through. But on the flip side, is that their whole legacy is gonna be wiped out, man. And they got the only nation that has the pleasure of having that done to them, man. That your whole legacy, everything that you represent, is gonna be burnt up at one time, along with your whole household, man.
Right here too,
That's a judgment that it don't matter what kind of dirt you do and how proud you are, you can't escape that. Nothing can top extermination, man. That's why I say rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, man.
Like you said about how the Lord put a veil around them. For prophecy's sake, right? This is Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 4. The Lord hath made all things for himself. Yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil.
So they got that hedge around them because they've been preserved for this day right here, man. And for Jacob's trouble to happen, man. When the Lord unleashed that full wrath to show you that Esau ain't changed, man. That Esau just civilized himself for a moment. That he about to go right back to the caveman that he is, man. And he is a representation of the end of this world, man. And the Lord didn't even describe what follows as the world. He just said, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, man. He can only describe what we're going to inherit as it, man. Because even our inheritance is beyond our imagination. We know certain things about it, but we don't know it in its fullness, and we won't find out until we actually endure to the end and see it, man.
This is Psalms chapter 2, verse 4. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure.
So the same way these heathens laugh at us, the Lord is going to laugh at you in that day, man. When you running for your life, man. When you eating dirt just to feel full, man.
This Psalm 68, I'm going to start at 19. It say, blessed be the Lord, Yahawah, Bahashem Yahawashai, who daily load us with benefits, even the power of our salvation. He that is our power is the power of salvation, and unto power the Lord Yahawah, YAHAWASHI, belong the issues from death. But power shall wound the head of his enemies, and the hairy scalp of such an one as go on still in his trespasses.
Yeah, and that's the heathens and 2/3 of our nation, man. Because 2/3 of our nation are disgraceful, disobedient, rebellious sons, man. That are not even worthy to be called brothers, man. 2/3 are a nation in themselves, man. A nation of wickedness that's gonna perish like the heathens, man. Because they are disgraceful sons, man. They spit on their heritage, man.
Psalms chapter 37, starting at verse 7. Rest in the Lord, Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashai, and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. Verse 8. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. Verse 9. For the evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. Verse 10. For yet a little while the wicked shall not be. Yet thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be.
Yeah, I mean,
I can say this too. Like, why would you sit here in front of people that's gonna be extinct? We got the kingdom. We got forever, ever, and ever, ever, and ever, ever, and they got until the end of this kingdom.
Yeah.
So why are we gonna sit here and ruin our chances to get on these chariots for people that were created just to be destroyed? When we're a people who were created to live. That goes to Khan.
Yeah, man.
Right. That's damn, that's heavy.
Two-thirds are traitors to their own nation. You a traitor, man. You walk like your oppressor, man, and you consider the ways of your oppressor. You a traitor, man.
I'm about to say this out. It took a long time for this point to come. With me and being raised back up, you know how long it's gonna take for them to go through slavery? Them hours gonna be slow.
And we're gonna constantly remind them.
Years gonna be dragged.
We're gonna constantly remind them that you got 200 years left. You got 300 left. You got 400 years left. The countdown. You have a big
that
countdown.
1,000 years could be 1,000 heavenly Father years.
But that's the patience.
10,000 years.
That's the patience and the faith of the saints. That's our patience that it don't matter how long YAHAWASHI take, we're gonna patiently wait for it, man.
They gotta ride.
You got questions?
Dream, what y'all know?
We're going to right here.
What's your nationality?
Name it.
You need to be a part of the best. Yeah, we like you. We love you. This is our heritage.
I don't need to be like the love doing it, even commend it.
Yeah.
That's most important. This is you commend it.
You know you a chosen son of God?
Huh?
You know you're a chosen son of God?
I know. That's why I stopped.
Since you already know about actually, it isn't really you got all your stuff here.
I wouldn't say it.
Glad you like it.
I wouldn't say I believe it. Listen.
Oh, tell me more about
I understand it. I understand it. I know it.
What don't you believe about it? You know you're a son of God.
I believe I'm a child of God.
You say it's no proof.
I'm saying no proof that we come from Israel.
Have you read the Bible? You got a cross for your neck, so you read the Bible?
No, I believe it.
Huh?
No, I believe it.
So who are the Israelites? Who are the
Israelites?
Yeah.
Well, God showed me.
All right, so who are they today?
Because
The Lord ain't about shrugs. He ain't about, I don't know. He's about sure answers. And what we're trying to present to you is the true answer. You may say it's not proof, there's no proof, but maybe you haven't looked hard enough, bro.
I found true too.
Alright, I'm gonna read you a couple of scriptures, right? This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass in Deuteronomy, first 5 books, right? Torah, right? Right?
I'm gonna wrap it up after this.
First 5 books. Right. And it shall come to pass that thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day. The Lord God will set thee on high above all the nations on the earth, right? Now we're going to jump to verse 15. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Right?
Lord Jesus
So the Most High gives us a choice. He says, follow his laws. Don't follow his laws and curses will come. Right? Go ahead,
So with these curses, you will be able to identify the children of Israel.
Yeah.
So the struggle, the very oppression that we suffer is a very particular children of the Lord. Because you beat your sin. You wouldn't beat nobody else.
But we ain't racist though.
What's the definition of racism?
Like, we don't just not like white people.
No, it's not about color.
Right.
It's
about what God chose me.
Yeah, and they can look like any other nation.
Yeah, that's true.
We're saying that this is who they are predominantly.
Right.
But you know how the men of our nation get down, man. We get busy with all kind of people. So we have all kind of seeds out there.
Right.
They might not look like us, but they still might be the seed of Israel. So this is not a Black Panther, Black Power movement.
Right.
This is about the truth of the scriptures.
I feel you, man.
So, you know, it ain't when now the original term for racist was to be for your race. It wasn't against anybody specifically.
Yeah.
So are we for our nation? Yes, we are for our nation. Just like every other nation is for their nation.
To back up what he just said, when somebody's a bicyclist, what are they? When somebody's a bicyclist, what do they do?
Bicycles.
Bicycles, right? When somebody's a pianist, what do they do? They play the piano. So when somebody's a racist, they're for their race. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what?
That's the true definition of race.
That's why we can't get our stuff together. We're so worried about not offending everybody else that we don't want to look out for ourselves. As a nation of people, we've been looking out for every other nation and serving every other nation and not doing anything for ourselves. Yeah, the Lord. Yeah, bring that up.
It is Luke chapter 12, verse 51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth. Question mark. I tell you no, for rather division.
Get Deuteronomy 76.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 9. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
So in the Bible, throughout the Bible, the Lord tells you that he loves Israel. He said, I love Jacob. Jacob's name was changed to Israel.
Right.
Throughout the scriptures, he always tells you.
Right.
These are his people. And you got 76.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord, YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, thy power. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
That's how they sound from the Lord.
Right.
He said above all nations. So this is his
So that's why we like this.
That's why we when I can tell you this on a market level, that's why we got all the talent,
Yeah.
the spice, the flavor, the trend.
Yeah, we do.
The Lord said that we are the salt of the earth. Yeah. The Lord said we're the salt of the earth. But we have to listen to the Lord in order to be raised up as a nation. Everything that our nation is going through is a part of the Bible. So everything that we're going through is perfect. Everything that we're going through, including our slavery, is perfect.
I believe that. Because they'll say like Solomon was black or something. Solomon was black. David
Sound black,
yeah, the scripture says. He say he had dreads, something like that. Samson had dreads. You know. I mean, truth is the truth. You can't go against the word. I mean, you can't go against the word. I can't argue with the word.
Your proof does?
That's the proof. Okay. I heard. I know, but it's just hard. I just listened to the wrong person because he said he don't believe in the rapture. Y'all believe in the rapture?
Well, the way they call a rapture, how it happens in their belief, we don't believe in that. Now, there are going to be people called up, but they're going to be called up simultaneously while this place is being destroyed. The rapture that the Christians teach is that people are just going to disappear,
so
and then you go to a tribulation. We are the true followers of
Hebrew Israelites?
Yes.
My daddy the same thing, but he believe in Allah. Y'all believe in Allah? Or y'all believe in Jesus? Jesus or Allah?
Jesus or Allah? We believe in YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, one they call Christ.
Yahweh is what? Jesus?
Well, Yahweh is Yiddish way of saying Yahweh. That's what his name was. It is.
So Jesus ain't the name?
No. His name is YAHAWASHI.
I mean, that's it. The letter J was added to the Hebrew language. But before that letter came,
What they were called?
Yahweh. Yeshua. And Yeshua is translated to Jesus in Greek.
There's no vowel points in the truth.
So y'all don't believe in the name of Jesus? Y'all believe that Jesus is God? Jesus is God? Who is God?
Jesus is God.
Yeah.
One thing at a time. So when you say Jesus is God, you mean like he is his father?
No, he is the son of God.
All right, yo.
But he is God.
Yeah, he is a power. Allah is just a
Father, Son, Holy Spirit, right?
Allah is a title. It just means power. Judge.
So y'all believe Allah?
No.